Welcome into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller,
And my name's Brett Parnell.
and let's dive in. So,
We're in season 50.
finally, after years of excitement and hype
Yeah,
and
like
50 rumors,
Jeff was talking about it's going to be all returning players on 50 over a year ago. And then it was like 10 months ago that we got the cast unofficially, and we're
even
here.
even before he confirmed and decided in front of at a live event it would be returners. Fans were already curious and like
Oh,
expecting
yeah.
it to be returners and saying who they'd want to see.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
this is exciting.
It is. Um, but yeah, Bruce, any thoughts overall of like what your reaction was while watching this?
I have a few. First off, incredible episode. One of my like I one of the best premieres we've seen in a long time.
I think that was the best premiere since season one.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
40 was cool too, but
Yeah.
of the like I of the premieres I watched live, this and 40 are obviously the best because they're the
Yeah.
two returnee seasons. But just a fantastic episode. Feeling good about my draft team.
Yeah.
So, like, three of them are solid, and the one whose name is out there is one whose name I knew would be out there, but I think she can recover. So,
That's fair.
I'm excited. What about you?
Yeah, like I said, overall, I think this is the best premiere in the in Survivor that we knew what it was.
Yeah.
Season one had the whole like, what is this that we're watching factor, but after that, season 50 had the best premiere in my mind. I think this is better than the 40 premiere and better than the Heroes versus Villains premiere.
It's better than the 41. 40 was just what came to my mind for an awesome premiere.
Yeah.
Because
Uh,
players are calling this the Super Bowl now, and they did the same thing 10 seasons ago.
yeah, that's true.
So,
Um, really, when I first saw it, I was kind of wondering how is this going to fit in, but just watching these 24 people play together is such a good cast. I think now that we don't have two mystery people, but we know Savannah's game and we know Rizzo's game so well from last season, they just fit in at this level perfectly. And yes, I might be a bit biased because they're both on my team, Team 49.
yeah.
But no, I cannot wait to see where this season goes. I'm sure we'll get into it. Unfortunately, we had one incident in this episode that might put a damper on the season, but well, a couple, but I mean, at the same time, it was just perfect to watch. I've
Man,
never been so
yeah.
excited watching an episode of television in any show for as long as I can remember.
This was, for as good of an episode as this was, man, that ending was sad.
Yeah,
I Getting medevac in the premiere episode is already bad, but doing it at the beginning of a season like this makes it worse.
absolutely. But I do gotta say, at least from a small consolation point of view, I'd almost rather get medevaced in the premiere than be like um Joe Del Campo and get medevaced 1 week before the finale.
I don't know. They both suck,
Yeah.
but
Or
at least,
Eric getting medevaced in the finale.
at least Kyle, like he already won his first season, so
Yeah,
he was in a. We'll get into this, but he was in a good spot too,
he
though.
was.
So yeah, we start off though with the intro scene from the Borneo premiere.
Yeah, this was fun.
This was awesome.
I mean, to think that there's so many different people in this fan base, and it's like you guys were watching that and go being like as someone like yourself who came into the show in season 36 was watching that kind of knowing where it all came in. And I know you've gone back and watched the whole franchise, but then like those other people out there like myself who was like my grandma was watching this and then the next week I was watching the show. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of people out there who saw that episode for the first time, and just to have to be brought back 25 years later, 26 years later is incredible.
Yeah. So we get that intro scene from the Borneo premiere, and then we get 49 seasons worth of montage clips. Like we get montage clips throughout the from the history of the show, and this was just so cool to me.
Yeah.
I love this. We got
I
Keith Nail worked into the premiere of Survivor 50, which is
We did.
awesome.
That was awesome. And the neat thing too was that they really did show all 49 seasons. So it was like you had those moments you expected, which who will ever get tired of seeing rats and snakes, of seeing Fairplay's grandma, of seeing um just these big moments in the show. But then you also they made sure that almost every season, if not almost every season, was represented to a point.
Yeah, I agree.
And it ultimately accumulates with Savannah winning 49, and then boom, she's back.
Yeah. And we get this really cool, like, we get this cool scene too of Jenna, like, camera shot, not scene, of like her on an island or something pregame, one of those shots of her face. Then it immediately cuts to her face close up on the boat to the
Yeah,
Maroonie. That was cool.
that was.
We got we. I was so excited for a second because we get Probst on like the classic premiere shot of Probst up in a weird location where it, like he's up on top of a mountain cliff on some island, and it zooms out and you see how high he is. And I'm waiting for him to do the like classic thing where he goes 26 days, 24 people, one survivor, like he used to do.
Yep.
They were setting up that shot and he didn't do the line. Why?
Don't you hate watching something when you're expecting someone to say the line and they just say something else?
Yeah.
I'll have a funny story for you after this episode ends
When
about
they did
that.
the like drastic zoom out and we saw he's up on top of a cliff, I thought the 26 days, 24 people, one survivor was coming.
I I would have thought so too, but at the same time, I mean, I understand him not doing it as well because we're talking about, I mean, from a certain segment of the community, the tweets would write themselves about we have 24 people in a 26-day game.
Yeah,
And
but
I don't even care, but
the
you know,
people
some people will care.
the people that complain about 26 days have been doing it for 6 years now. They're not going to stop no matter what you do. They're
Yeah.
annoying, but like, oh well. We missed awesome premiere. Like, I'm not taking anything. I just wish we got the cool line that he said it in the big dramatic way.
Yeah, agreed.
But so we get to the marooning, and Mike White describes it as high school reunion meets a massacre, which is funny.
Yeah.
We get Probst does reveal the in the hands of the fans thing where the fans decide game design.
He
And
does.
we learned the results of some of these votes throughout the premiere, and I was shocked by these. These almost all went the other way from what I expected,
Interesting.
at least from how I voted.
Fair. I
Except
can't. I can't remember exactly how I voted. I'm sure I could go back and check on episodes when we talked about that in season 48, but
Yeah, we
I
get
was surprised by
into.
some of them.
We talked about getting sassy Jeff before. We get dramatic Jeff this time
We do.
because he tells them like all we want in exchange for giving you this spot is everything. And like goes into this whole give it your all spiel that like of course they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I like Jeff being all
Well, I
dramatic.
mean, you never know if you watched Angelina's pregame interview.
Well, what was that? I might have missed that.
Angelina was convinced, like when it was at War, that they were going to be playing for at least 2 million,
Oh, well, yeah. And so,
and that did not happen.
yeah, we get Probst. Then he's catching up with people a little bit. He's just saying, "Oh, hey, what's going on here? What's going on there?" Devins tells everyone that he voted for no idols, and I wrote down, "I'm not sure if I believe him or not."
I don't believe him for a second.
Yeah, Probst asks Coach for a coachism for what we'll experience the next 26 days, and Coach goes on a monologue, and I put Coach is officially back, baby. Like he just went full Coach mode right there, right off the bat.
All I heard in this point was my mom talking about how Coach is driving her crazy 5 minutes into the episode. And hopefully, according to her, he's not around for much longer.
Yeah, remember when we were talking about Coach and Ozzy both with cast slash draft analysis and the draft of
Yeah.
these are two people we've seen play the same, be the same person every time. Will we
And
see a different version? And the answer with Coach is no.
the answer with Ozzy, though, was maybe yes.
That surprised me. I
We'll
thought for
talk
sure
about
we'd
that.
get the same like Ozzy that comes out arrogant and wants to play an only physical game. And like he's trying to adapt.
Yeah.
Coach
But
is just coach, but
and it
Ozzy's
seems
trying to
like
think,
Coach and Ozzy have a bit of a rivalry coming into this season that dates all the way back to South Pacific.
which they squashed for like 2 seconds, and we'll get to that. But that was funny.
Yeah. I'll have something to ask you then.
Okay, so another thing I noticed. So Probst brings out the tray for tribe divisions and says, "Grab." They have the buffs in little packages. Grab the one with your name on it. And as they're being passed out, we see Coach and Colby kind of put their arms around each other and say, "Oh, good luck, buddy." So separate tribes from on heroes versus villains, but we have a heroes versus villains like connection, friendship here.
Is Coach the best connected player in this game?
He got a good edit, man.
He did.
Now because he's Coach and because he's still like, and I'm someone that I like when people try to play honest. I admire it just because it's harder to do. But if he's going to be as obsessed with the honor thing as he always is, it doesn't matter if he gets to the end. I don't think he wins. But like he had a lot better premiere than I was expecting. Like, but
Yeah, same.
so our buffs are being passed out. Colby and Steph are together on a tribe again.
They are.
So that's something to look out
Something
for.
we've seen, but not for very long.
Long-ish, about halfway through the pre-merge, right?
Did Steph make it that far?
I don't remember. I'm
I don't
guessing.
think so. First, I'm gonna look it up.
I'll look
just to
it
make
up.
sure I'm right. But I think she went really early.
I know she went early. I just don't remember how early. I'm looking it up now.
My guess is second boot is on my mind.
I know Sugar was first.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, it was
second.
second boot. Okay. It went Sugar, Steph, Randy, Suri, Tom.
Yeah.
I had her in my head as like between Suri and Tom for some reason. I thought she was like
Mm,
fourth or fifth voted out. So yeah, but not very long for them on the same tribe originally, but enough that they have a relationship
yeah,
pre-existing. So
and possibly one too that stayed after the game.
yeah, and so we we learn the result, our first two results of the in the hands of the fans voting, which was should we give the tribe rice or have them earn it?
And shockingly, Jeff gets his wish.
This is what I said. Like these votes, like did he just have everyone on? Because he's talked about how like the Survivor camp and like how big Productions camp is. Did he just have all of them voting the same way?
I don't know. What
Like no,
here's what
I
I
know
told people
they didn't
online.
rig the vote, but I have heard fans, myself included, complaining about having to earn a rice for 9 seasons. I can't
Yeah.
believe this vote went this way.
I was surprised by it too. I don't believe that it was rigged either. I think there's just probably a silent majority of passive fans that aren't as outspoken as the content creators about these kind of topics.
Or
That
or
being
fans
said,
that became fans during the new era.
yeah, exactly. That being said, I would say watch up until day 30. I was going to say 38. Day 38, we're going to be back in America going to work unless you won $1 million. Um,
No, because Survivor 50
until
is
day
going into sudden
25,
death overtime. Day 38 is part of overtime.
can it be 5-on-5 for a change?
No.
5-on-5 and Genevieve and Camilla are the final two.
No 4-on-4 either, because that didn't work well for me when we tried that. Sidney Crosby ripped my young heart out then. But yeah, it's so the vote is
but
53-47 in
but
favor of making them earn it, which surprised me.
but
But
what I was
Probst
getting to
does this
is
really like epic reveal of this,
yeah.
whereas the way he says is the fans voted to give you the chance to show what badasses you are by earning it.
Yeah, that was funny, but I can only imagine being there.
Like the epic Probst fake out was not on my bingo card for that.
Same.
But tribe supplies, which I expected to go the way of giving it to them, like we saw pre 40. Also, pre 41, my bad. Also went in favor of making them earn it. That was a 60-40 vote.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it was. Some people I know were questioning the votes. I don't think that there's anything illegitimate about it. But the one thing I'm gonna watch for, and this is kind of what I was saying, is wait till day 25. If the result is like 90% of people want a fire making challenge on day 25, then I'll go, huh?
Yeah. But, like, let me, in this premiere, and we'll get back to these when these get revealed. We got these two. We got should there be idols, and we got the result of how much power should an idol have.
Yeah.
The how much power should an idol have? The fans voted for the maximum option, which was like dynamic or something like that,
Yeah.
right? The the
That
options
one
were
surprised
minimum,
me less.
strategic, and dynamic.
That one surprised me less because it's not like they were very clear of what any of those meant.
I know, but people complain so much about how the new era is like one of the complaints the new era gets is how advantage riddled it is.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that when it comes to my favorite player's place in the game in a few minutes.
Okay, I thought I voted again. I the options were dynamic, strategic, and I think the bottom one was like minimum. Or I voted for the medium option, which I thought would be what happens, but we got dynamic. The only one of these votes that didn't surprise me is idols, yes or no, and they voted yes.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
no, and I'm glad they voted yes because they just make the game more interesting.
Yeah.
But we get to the marooning challenge, and I was hoping for on the sand, bring this sand, wrestle your opponent for a sandbag and bring it back to this mat like the heroes versus villains marooning. We didn't get that.
No,
We
I don't
got,
think we'll ever get a challenge like that again.
I know, but I wanted it.
Fair.
It's not realistic, but what I what we did get was cool though, where one person for each tribe digs in the sand and slips under a bar to get under. They then untie a key and bring that to another person who unlocks and solves a puzzle to get like an oar out of it, like a paddle. Then two more people unload a bunch of rope out of a boat, and then two others get into the boat. They use a rope to pull themselves through the water to a platform where they retrieve a torch and then paddle back. And the last two retrieve a bag from this tall, spirally thingy in the air and bring that key back and unlock the torch and light it.
Also, in addition to that 20 challenge, gave a kind of throwback to Quest for Fire, the first ever challenge done in Survivor.
I did not think about that. Nice. There was a lot of moving parts to this challenge.
Yeah, there was.
I kind of liked it. So,
Oh, I loved it.
Vatu, who's the pink slash purple tribe, they win and they get Flint and they get a new reward that we either haven't seen or haven't seen for a while. And they get a huge bonfire already going when they get to their camp.
Yeah, I know we've seen it, but it's been a while.
Been long enough, I don't remember when it was.
Same.
So that's a cool reward. I like
It
that.
was.
And now
But
each tribe must choose one person to leave and go compete for tribe supplies.
and we get Coach versus Ozzy.
Yeah, Kahlo, who's teal, chooses coach. Sela, who's orange, they choose Ozzy. And Vatu sends Q.
Yeah. I mean, why not have Coach and Q be on the same island together for a change?
Yeah.
For a little bit of time at least.
I was kind of surprised Jonathan didn't get sent here.
Yeah.
But so they go. We don't go with them immediately. We go to the Vatu beach where we see Steph and Colby immediately have gravitated to each other. They're already talking. They're going to work together, which isn't surprising, but I love it.
Yeah.
We also learned that so far to this point, Colby is not a Rizzo fan.
So far.
Yeah.
Which
he gives us a
I'm guessing that that's probably just a reaction from Ponderosa because Colby obviously never got to watch Rizzo play Survivor. I mean, I don't think Colby's watched 2/3 of these people play Survivor, but it's not. Rizzo's season was so recent that nobody knows anything about him. He's probably just getting that vibe like at the airport and at the resort before they come out to the game.
Yeah, and I think part of it was just like them arriving at camp and working on the shelter and stuff too.
Yeah.
But
And I also think the other part of it, and I know I mentioned this during the show, is like Colby is saying, I know plenty of young people his age that are hard workers. And I'm like, Colby is from rural Texas. Rizzo is from the Bronx.
you can be a hard worker and be
Oh,
from the
you
Bronx,
can
though.
be, but the culture and the lifestyle is just totally different surrounding what is expected of 20-year-olds between ranchers and people in the big city.
Yeah. You mean they're not doing cattle drives through Times Square?
I would hope not. That would be very unsanitary.
That would be fun to watch, though.
Yeah.
So Yeah. So we also see a scene before that confessional of him saying to Stephanie quietly, I saw this on Twitter. I didn't catch it in the episode where he goes, Rizzo's annoying as hell,
Yeah, that was funny.
which is just, it's funny. So that's where we're at with Vatu so far. Stephanie and Colby are working together. Colby finds Rizzo irritating.
For
And
the
so
first
we
day.
go to Kahlo, and the first person we hear from, I have to be careful because I half broke this. It's from my girl D here, who I have a pop figure of now. And it's a confessional where she says how happy she is to be back and happy about every part of it, and says that she's known as the most dominant cutthroat winner of the new era, and says if they thought I was cutthroat then, they don't know what's coming now. I love this. Like,
Yeah.
not just because I love her, but she's hyping up how good she is, how dominant she is,
I hate that
holding nothing
winners
back, coming back.
I hate that winners are just gonna be such a big target when there's only three of them. But I would love to see a situation where Dee and Savannah play against each other or together in the merge.
Yeah, I, I, I feel like D could make the merge. I'm not
Yeah,
like she's a target early on this tribe, but it's the Jonathan tribe. They may not go to tribal for a little while.
true.
And we saw her start to make bonds with two people a little bit. We'll get to that. So,
Though I do know that not every week is 3 hours of airtime, so odds are that tribe is gonna have to come first place if they want to avoid tribal council from now on in.
yeah, but Jonathan,
I know.
who's just, I knew he was large. I forgot just how monstrous of a human being he is until I was
There's
watching this.
there's a reason why he's on my team. Because no one's gonna vote him out pre-merge if coming first is the most important.
Yeah. And so I'm excited to have Dee back. We also see in a confessional, she says she loves the tribe she's on, and this group of people seems to get along really well.
Yeah,
We've seen Dee's name whispered around a little bit, but that was a given. Like, I'm not really worried about her yet, honestly.
agreed.
We also learn Charlie says they have
It wasn't
nine
as blatant
members.
as Surya Jenna's name.
I feel vindicated, by the way. Suri got targeted right away.
She did. We'll talk about that.
Not very well, but the name was thrown out there. So I'm going to at least try to claim I was right.
Not as well as when she targeted Tina.
Yeah. And we see Charlie tells us that they have 9 tribe members because Jonathan counts as 2 because he's so large. We learn that Mike White has a 6-pack now. That was not on my bingo card.
Yeah.
And so, and we also learn, speaking of Mike, learned in a confessional that he's trying to downplay his threat level. He's kind of pretending he needs to be led around camp. And he tells us that he's there to have fun. And if someone's bothering him or,
I mean, he was there to have fun last time, too.
yeah,
So,
and he did real well.
which he did, which can be good if you need an extra vote. Though I think Mike will be a lot more threatening this time based off of what he does outside of Survivor than he was even last time. And everyone knew who he was last time.
Yeah. We also get Tiffany saying, Mike, is it weird for you when people fan out like this? And he just goes, no, I love it. Which is fantastic. That would be me.
Yeah.
Like, yes, give me all of the attention. I love it.
That was so funny.
So we go to Sela, and Joe tells us that he loves his tribe. Everyone loves the tribe they're on so far.
Yep.
And so they ask Savannah to give them the 49T. And what she does next is interesting. Well, first off, she says, "How do you think I did?" And nobody gives a guess. They all just kind of stand there and stare at her. But she tells them she won.
Which is smart.
It is, because I see what she's doing. She's trying to establish trust. That's smart.
That's
That
one thing she's
also
doing.
that also paints a target on her back immediately.
It does, but here's what paints a bigger target. If they go on a journey and Rizzo tells someone, hey, she won.
Yeah, see, I just don't think he would do that. Or
Oh,
at least they'd at least planned it ahead. They saw each other at Pond, like ending 49 Ponderosa before 50, and they both knew the other person had been asked. They figured it out.
they knew. I think the two of them, regardless of what happens in this season, along with Sophie B, will always be a tight trio in the Survivor community. But I think both Rizzo and Savannah know that this is just a game. And I absolutely think that he would have done that.
Yeah,
Especially considering she's already a millionaire. So,
and so, yeah. And we see Jenna and Savannah walking in the jungle. And Jenna says, "I'm not here to play old school. I'm here to win." And my note at the time was, does this mean the winner killer thing is not going to be a priority? Because, I mean, she seems like she's willing to work with Savannah a little bit here.
yeah.
My new note after seeing the episode fully is you said you didn't want to come here and play old school, then came out firing just like you did in season 8 and season 1, and were a bit of a loose cannon. So, yeah, you kind of played the same game.
Yeah.
Even
I
did you
mean,
see Jervis on Twitter, by the way?
no.
Said
What did
something.
he say?
I'll look it up. Something along the lines of they in Borneo we called Jenna a loose cannon, and they called her that now. But there was more to it than that.
I mean, she didn't have to um worry about being a loose cannon on the first vote in Borneo. BB kind of did it to himself. But
Here, here we go. We called Jenna a loose cannon in Borneo. That sentiment was echoed tonight, 25 years later. Loose cannons are unpredictable, and that is unpredictable. And that unpredictability is bad for everyone's game.
yeah.
So, like, she says this. She says she's here to win. She's not here to play old school, but is playing the same. Like, her game gets described the same way it did 25 years ago. So you kind of did in a way,
Yeah, that's funny.
unintentionally maybe, but and this is where we see Jenna
Even
tell
though it doesn't
Savannah.
last long and she kind of sinks her game, I am glad that Jenna decided to come back after wanting to play for so many years.
Oh yeah, for sure. We also in this scene with Savannah, she tells Savannah that she's worried about Cerie's story, and then she tells us in a confessional she'd love to target Cerie. This is the first time we see her say this episode.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm feeling like, yeah, I was right. I said she'd get targeted, and I want Cerie to be around a little while. Not long enough that I lose the draft, but I didn't need her to go home early for my take about her getting targeted to be right. I feel like I'm already right in a way because people are worried about her.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and it was a unanimous vote, but I feel like they're probably still worried to an extent.
Yeah, no question.
But we get to the camp supplies battle, and Coach says, "I'm going up against two men younger than myself, including my nemesis, Ozzy." And we get another flashback scene to South Pacific Final Tribal, where juror Ozzy is just bitter at Coach.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that this was like a rivalry, honestly.
Yeah, I think it was just like the two returning players, kind of the
Yeah.
way, same way that they set up Russell versus Rob rivalry in the season before.
Well, Russell versus Rob like was a rivalry that formed naturally on 20. They hated each other there.
For a little bit, but then Rob went home so early that it's not like it played out that much.
It's not, but like that we at least knew where Rob versus Russell came from. That
Yeah,
was a grudge match for 20. Coach and Ozzy just feels like a random combination of people for 23. And
fair.
then Final Tribal, I guess, stirred up a rivalry between them that they've both felt this long. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But I wrote down we somehow have a group of three personalities big enough to where Q is the third wheel. That's kind of impressive, honestly.
That we do.
And we see Ozzy and Coach talk about South Pacific, reconcile those differences. Ozzy says you should have won. And Coach says, like, yeah, you're good. Your job as a juror is to take your pound of flesh. You did your job. And they reconcile their differences.
This was acting for the camera.
No, I believe they thought they had reconciled it, and then they immediately just ruined it.
Interesting.
Them, like, I fully believe that like they had reconciled it. They talked it out because they both reference it later in
Yeah.
confessionals. But they reconcile their South Pacific differences before the challenge, and by the end of the challenge, they are no longer on good terms anymore.
No, they aren't. But I mean, I'm
Does
gonna
that
be
does
honest.
that is that the new world record for shortest like beef squashed before becoming a beef again?
I mean,
Like that's
I'm
crazy.
it probably not. There has to be a situation that somebody that you call the president has squashed beef and then started it faster than that.
Well, let's not get into that. Stop that. But yeah, so the way this challenge works is we learned this right after the reconciliation. So we've got good vibes flowing. The way the challenge works is we race out to collect bundles of materials, and we get the first one off a tall pole, and the second one, I didn't write down where it was, but the third one is in the water,
Yep.
and we use the materials. Classic challenge. Use the
Oh yeah.
materials to build a pole long enough to retrieve a key from behind a wall.
As Jeff always says, long enough and strong enough is key.
Ozzy missed the second part.
He did.
And so,
Ozzy made a fishing rod as it was reeling in a largemouth bass.
but Coach makes a good point here, and I didn't realize this was foreshadowing when he says this. I
Yep.
didn't realize this was telling us what was coming. But Coach tells us it doesn't matter who knocks the key off. It matters who drags it over the finish line.
Yeah.
Keep note of that as I explain this, guys.
And
Oh,
that's what made this such a new dynamic in this classic challenge, in that there was only one key instead of three keys.
yeah. And so Ozzy builds his pole. He finishes. He climbs up the wall to do this, which I didn't know why at first, but then I realized, oh, his pole isn't very strong. It's got a bend to it. So he has to climb to the top of the pole, and he can't really reach it. So he just starts swinging it at the key, trying to knock it off randomly. And Ozzy's just whipping his pole at the key like that. And I wrote down, I'm waiting for his pole to break apart. I genuinely thought like half of it was going to fall off.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And then we kind of see him give up for a second. He's kind of just chilling there. He takes a break. And then Ozzy like starts talking with Q and like, hey, let's just make an agreement. This is important because this will come up
This
next
brought
week, I
me
think.
this
Ozzy
brought me
tries to make
back
a deal and say,
this
whoever knocks it off, let's agree that we'll let them have it. Coach
th-
doesn't say anything.
which is smart. This brought me back to Jam Jam on the Traders earlier in the season.
Yeah. Like,
And I'm like, Coach is playing this great. He didn't agree not to do it. Ozzy and Q agreed not to do it. Coach just sat there. I'm sure if Ozzy said, Coach, what do you think? He would have done nothing and kept going for it.
this was Coach's plan the whole time, was to have
Yep.
someone else knock it off.
Very smart.
But Ozzy ends up knocking it off. Coach takes it off the ground. And then Ozzy's complaining that Coach didn't show honor. I
Coach
don't
didn't
get this.
agree
He
to
never
it.
agreed to your deal. What are you talking about?
Yeah, literally.
I guess I don't know what Coach and all of his coachness defines as honor. Maybe stealing doesn't go along with that. Maybe
I
Ozzy
don't even
earned
think it
that.
was stolen because it wasn't there.
Yeah,
Ozzy didn't win the point of the challenge. The challenge is different than it used to be. That's
yeah.
Survivor.
It's and I've seen people online being like, "Oh, coach, coach is doing the coach thing again. He's focusing on honor and integrity so much, and like he's not playing that way. He's not owning his game. I don't see what he
I don't
didn't do. Like
I
he
don't see
never
it at all.
agreed to Ozzy's deal.
That's right.
So we'll see.
There's there's a big difference between agreeing to a deal and going back on it versus saying no or not saying anything at all.
Yeah,
I would sure love to say Boston and Toronto can agree that LA is going to trade Shohei Ohtani to somebody else, but they're not going to.
yeah. So what we also learn is coach leaves, the other two stay behind to open something once he leaves. And we learn that
This was good.
Exile Island is back.
Exile Island is back. I don't know if it's going to be consistent all season or if it's just a one off, but either way, this was a great twist.
It was. And so
And then they've had to find a way to bleep it up.
eh, I don't hate that. We'll get to them leaving Exile Island. I don't hate that as much. I thought that was interesting. They fiddle
Yeah.
with people's votes too much still, but like it's a
That's
new
my
version of
point.
it. What?
That's my overall point.
I thought you just meant you didn't like the like them deciding it part.
No, I'm fine with that.
But yeah, it's because coming in, the person I was most worried about on my tribe was Q, and he actually did seems like he's in a good spot so far.
Yeah,
My note
yes.
was the person I was already most worried about on my draft team is now missing out on the first day of camp getting to know people.
And without Kyle, that tribe is going to need Q to carry them in challenges.
Yeah.
Especially when you're looking at that. I mean, I'm giving Q a very tall order with Ozzy and Jonathan on the two other tribes, but
And Joe. Joe's
yeah,
up there.
exactly.
So that's something to look out for. So we go back to Kahlo. Coach brings the supplies back, and we get the whole tribe chanting his name.
That he does.
Is he the main character of this premiere episode?
Coach is the main character of the season so far.
I did
At
not
least from
expect that.
at least from what they were shown based on something that Mike Bloom said today.
Huh.
Did you see that?
No, tell me.
Mike Bloom says that there was an attempted Angelina negotiation that was not in the episode.
Oh, I did. I saw that a few days ago.
Oh, okay. I just saw it this morning.
That she tried to trade the fishing gear for a tarp, and Probe said it's a non-starter.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what it was. I
Yeah, they tried to get a tarp, and he said it's a non-starter.
fair.
And they said what's available to negotiate for some reason. And he like looked down at his podium, which doesn't have a door. I don't think. I don't know what he was
No.
pretending to look at. And he goes, "I've got nothing for you. Go back to camp." I saw the video of it. I saw a video on Twitter, but I had read about it before that.
That's funny.
But yeah, so we're at Kala. We're chanting Coach's name. Charlie tries on Coach's toe ring for some reason.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Very.
Also
And so
bizarre that Coach says he hasn't taken a piece of jewelry off since the 70s. I'm assuming, or 80s or something. I'm assuming that that is when Coach like paddled down the Amazon and he was probably given it by the native people there.
yeah. So we also, man, this is just all him for a little while. Chrissy wants to work with Coach. We see them talking a little bit on the beach. This is where I wrote down, wow, he's really popular so far.
Yeah.
This is the first time we say Chrissy say that they should target D. And I wrote down, no, not allowed. And if Chrissy ends up spearheading D going home, I will be joining Kevin with just not being a huge fan of hers. I'll be bitter. I don't think she's the first person gone from this tribe, though. Like, she's the name they're saying right now.
Yeah, I
But
don't think so.
I think something else is going to happen. We'll see.
I mean, there's still lots of game to go for anyone that didn't vote this week.
Yeah. Well, not Kyle.
That's all.
He didn't vote this week, and
Well,
there's no more
fine,
game
but
left for him. But
you know what I mean. I'm saying if you're still in the game,
I know.
there's gonna the idea of what they talked about today is irrelevant on who goes home next week.
I can't give all my dumb sarcasm to Kevin. I have to give you some of it.
Fair enough.
So we then go to Sela, and Christian tells Devins that Jenna is trying to organize a vote against Sarit because Jenna had told Christian, I guess.
Yeah.
And so,
Which is probably the smart thing to do.
yeah.
I'll give you credit on that as much as I will Jenna, but it doesn't mean that it's what people want to do. Because humans don't always do the smartest thing.
You also just can't go around throwing out a name that strongly before you even go to the first immunity is not a good
And I
idea.
think that was Jenna's big problem, is that if they lost and then had to talk and she said, I think we should target Suri, look at her challenge performance today. We're going to need to win in order to have a chance to make the merge. She probably would have got a lot of sympathy to that argument, but instead she was throwing out Suri's name when they were thinking maybe we might go to the merge without having to vote.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody should be thinking going into the game.
But also, like, you have to know who to say the name to. You can't just go around saying it to everyone.
Right.
If you tell the wrong person, it'll get back to your target, and that happened here.
Yep.
Her telling Savannah was a smart idea. Telling Christian probably shouldn't have done that.
Right. Especially if you're someone like in Savannah's point that you're coming in, you've just told people you won. It probably is a smart idea because she's someone who could easily get on board with that. in
Yeah.
that Sandra role as long as it's not me. But yeah, going to Christian was before the challenge caused it to kind of blow up.
Yeah, and I have a comparison for Jenna in this episode that we'll get to post challenge. But we also see Rick and Christian, they're getting along really well. They came they came here wanting to play with each other, hoping the other person would be there.
Yeah,
And they ended up on the same tribe. That's awesome.
that
I
is.
love this duo. They're so much fun.
There's a lot of good alliances so far.
Yeah. So Rick and Christian are already idol searching in the woods. They're talking. They've got this bromance brewing between the two of them that is just fantastic in my eyes. And we also see Emily, my second round draft pick, and Devin's bonding, and Emily and Christian too. So we've got a bit of a trio here.
Yep.
I mean, it's a duo plus Emily, but we've got a group of three.
I mean, I always coming in saw Emily and Christian as a potential duo. So I
But
can see.
we get a really interesting confessional from her here. Is that she says that she came in expecting to be on the bottom, but so far people actually want to work with me. And she says that she didn't feel like she had that on her first season. She was always a bottom of the barrel choice. And now she needs to rewire her brain that people actually want to work with her now.
Yeah.
I love that. Again, I love the human side of the game. Just kind of saying, like, yeah, here's how I felt. That's not true this time. I need to adjust expectations. That's really cool.
It is.
I'm gonna go grab a phone charger real quick. You keep
Sure.
talking, and I'll be right back.
Bruce will be back shortly.
Okay, where are you?
Nowhere really.
Oh, you didn't say anything?
I said Bruce will be back in a second.
Oh, sorry, my phone hit like 10%. I
That's
thought I had
okay.
more charge. And so we go to Vatu. Colby and Kyle are talking straight. Lots of Colby at Vatu so far.
Yeah, this was a big Colby episode.
If Coach wasn't the main character, it would have been Colby.
Which I think makes a lot of sense too that Colby would get a big episode because I mean Jenna's getting a big episode for the bad reasons. Colby is that other OG player along with Jenna
Yeah.
who's everyone's like, wow, how are they playing Survivor again?
Yeah.
And whether it's a long game or a short game, you want to get both of them involved in the season.
Yeah. And so Colby and Kyle talk strategy, who they want to work with. The next thing we see is Kyle talking to Stephanie, Colby's number one, while telling us in confessional he wants to build relationships. And this is where I start to realize, oh, there's a trio bonding here. These three are going to be close.
Yep. But then it's almost becoming a quad alliance with like the new era players and the old school players as two duos that we see that become a alliance of four because Kyle is extremely close with Genevieve too.
That's my next note is he wants to work with Genevieve because she's the scariest person there. And says he also worked with the scariest person on his previous season, and that worked really well.
And that scariest person on a previous season is sitting one island over on another beach.
Yeah. I hate the medevac for Kyle, but him being gone works really well for Camilla. I think that takes her threat level down a lot, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have a group of four. They've all come together now and like have said, this is our group. That's Stephanie, Colby, Genevieve, and Kyle. And I love that group.
I love that group too.
I hate that this group is already not a thing anymore.
I hate that production has decided, I'm just going to get into it now, that for absolutely no fault of Genevieve, who I think is probably the first time ever, if I was to do power rankings right from the beginning, the person who I think is playing one of the top 2 or 3 best games is in the worst position.
Yeah.
Because Genevieve's people don't have votes.
Oh, I forgot Colby doesn't have a vote.
What
What
it
about Steph?
Steph still has a vote.
Okay. So you've got one ally with a
But
vote.
you have Colby has no vote. You have Q has no vote, who's now in that alliance. And you have Kyle, who's out of the game.
I feel like Colby and Q can be persuasive though. Like they can at least either try to bring votes in or throw. I don't think Genevieve is sunken
I
with each.
I don't think so for sure. I don't think she's in a good spot, which is just hard to believe when you build an alliance of 5. If I were in Genevieve's spot now, or I mean, I think Colby kind of started this too, but the one thing that you have to do is pull Rizzo in.
Yeah.
And if at least you can get Genevieve, Rizzo, and Steph voting, say, against Aubrey, whenever they have to vote first, you got a fighting chance to then get Colby and Q the votes back.
Yeah. And speaking of Aubrey, if Aubrey fans and Michelle fans, which you are one of, already like weren't huge fans of each other, my next note is Aubrey versus Genevieve brewing? Because we get this really awkward scene with them on the beach talking to each other.
We get a very awkward scene of them talking to each other. It definitely seems it. I think in the fan base, I don't know if this is just me or if this is a lot of people, but I kind of think that like social player who really knows the game, I think there's a lot of crossover between Michelle fans and Genevieve fans.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it just builds something that we've had in Korong all over again.
And I don't this really isn't even Genevieve. It's Aubrey because
Yeah,
Genevieve's like, hey, would you want to work together? I like you. And Aubrey's just not even trying to hide it. Hey, I'm really suspicious of you. What are
yeah.
your goals in this game? And like that's a weird way to play that this early.
I I get the sense that maybe Aubrey is misplaying this, but she probably doesn't know where someone like Stephanie is in the game and someone like Colby is in the game. And I think Aubrey is probably at a point where she might feel this whole new era game that Genevieve perfected in Operation Italy might be a step above what she's used to.
Yeah, but like Aubrey is such a smart person. I
Yeah,
was not expecting her like in this like day whatever we're on forming relationship stage to just so openly not trust someone and show
it's
that basically say it without saying I don't trust you.
it is not a good look at all. It goes back to what Boston Rob said is the number one rule of this game. If someone says, "Do you want to make an alliance?" the answer is always yes.
And Penner does that somewhere in Philippines too. Someone comes to him wanting to make an alliance or make some deal and he turns it down.
Yeah,
But yeah, so Aubrey versus Genevieve might be coming. So a boat comes to pick up the two boys that were on Exile Island. And there's tribe supplies for sale. This is a twist I didn't see coming. I thought we were done with twists with these people for now.
yeah, I thought so too, but no, we aren't.
One of
Um,
them has to buy it with their vote, that vote goes to the other player, which is
yeah,
interesting.
very interesting.
And that person will then return back to camp with an extra vote, but won't have tribe supplies.
Yeah.
I,
So it goes back to what we've seen in many seasons, the tribe preservation versus self-preservation.
but now it's like they're directly linked together. That in preserving myself, I'm helping your tribe. Like I
Yeah.
kind of like that they're connected now, and it's not separate choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Ozzy has about the most Ozzy approach to this you could think of, by the way, which is that he doesn't care about the camp supplies. He'd rather have power in the game for himself.
Yeah, very true.
That's what you'd expect from him, right? He kind
Not
of is
really.
the camp supplies. They have a fishing kit. Like that's all
That's
he tends to use anyway.
that's true.
But I wrote that down. But on the other hand, this this is expected from him, but it's also like a bit of adaptability. He's realizing he needs to play differently.
Yeah.
But like the reason,
Ozzy is at least trying to play the political game this time and the new era twist game this time. He knows
yeah,
if he just goes out and says, I caught 25 fish, don't vote me out, that he's going to get his ass voted out.
the reason I wrote down that this was not unexpected though is that at reasoning aside, at face value, if I told you coming in, Ozzy will be faced with a choice between preserving himself or preserving his tribe, you'd predict self-preservation every time.
Right.
So that's why I wrote that it was such an Aussie answer. But he has an extra vote now. And so at Vatu, Q gets back and he recaps what happened in the challenge for everyone. And he recaps Exile, but doesn't tell everyone that he lost his vote. That's smart.
That is smart.
And Kyle wants to talk to Q as soon as possible because, in Kyle's words, if there's anyone that can change a tribe dynamic, it's that man, which I thought was funny. And so Q tells Kyle here, he tells Kyle that he doesn't have a vote. So he obviously trusts Kyle a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's all we get there. We go to Sela and we get a brilliant Borneo. We don't, not like a flashback scene, but just Christian does something that they did in Borneo, and I love it. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
He starts a fire with his glasses.
Was that in Borneo? I know
They tried to do it in Borneo at
they
least.
did it in Africa.
I remember them trying to. BB was trying it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if it worked or not. But we haven't seen that in forever. Is starting a fire with our glasses. And
Yeah.
Christian's explaining how glasses work and how certain types of glasses are good for starting a fire and some aren't. And Rick just looks at the camera and goes, "Science is cool, kids." Which is kind of how I was feeling listening to
That
that.
was great.
So,
Yeah, I know that I've seen them do this in Africa. I forgot about it in Borneo.
yeah. So we see then Suri is feeling out Devins. They both agree they like Christian, and Devins. This is where Rick Devins tells Suri that Jen has been throwing her name out there again. And my note here was factual and petty at the same time, but just to humor myself. Jenna may be in trouble. Kevin may have the first boot again.
Yeah.
Back to back first boots. Good job, draft. Good job. It
I've
wasn't.
I've been
It
I've
wasn't
been
the
there,
first
Kevin.
round
It's
this
okay.
time.
What?
I said it. Like he didn't draft the first boot in the first round this time, so that's improvement at least.
Yeah. I've been there. It's okay.
But in a draft where it's based on average placement, I'll do draft update now because we kind of spoiled Jenna goes home and Kyle gets medevac. Kevin in last place with 24. Your dad has Kyle, right?
Yep.
Your dad's second to last with 23. Everyone else tied for first with 0.
I'm tied for first for the first time ever.
For the first time in forever. I'm going to stop singing Frozen now in case Disney sues us.
I
But
didn't even know that that's what that was.
it's from Frozen. Frozen's awesome.
I've never seen it.
Wow. I'm both impressed and surprised.
The only time I've ever heard music from Frozen is when this guy on Britain's Got Talent was performing Let It Go, but it was the funniest thing ever because one of the voice actors or singers from Frozen was on the judging panel that week, and this guy gets up and just does a full heavy metal version of Frozen in front of the singer.
Nice.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I'll send you the video.
So Frozen's a bit different down here, just to give you an idea. That the first one came out in like 2013, and Let It Go has been a very strong part of pop culture in the cultural lexicon the entire time since then. That song
Oh
has
wow.
never fully gone away.
So you're telling me that there's a song that's like never really gone away that isn't It's a Love Story, Baby Just Say Yes?
Yes.
Wow. I
Like
did not
you can
expect
start
that.
playing Let It Go now, and like elementary and middle school students know what it is immediately. And the movie came out when I was in middle school. So
That's
Frozen is
funny.
very popular down here. They're making a third one, I believe.
Frozen is very unpopular out here. We look at it out our windows every day.
Yeah, your whole country is frozen. I would think you guys of all people would love this movie.
Oh, people do love it. I just never seen it.
Oh, it's good. I like it. Better than the second one, but the second one has some good songs. This is not a Frozen podcast yet, though, so let me figure out where I am in my notes.
I
Oh,
would
here
be
we
a
go.
bad co-host if it was. I've never seen it. It would be like when I was on the Traders podcast.
Well, that would honestly make it cool, though. Like, if you haven't seen it, but then you watched it and then we recapped it, like right after you watched it for the first time, that
Right.
would be cool.
Like a reaction video.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we see Suri is on the beach with Ozzy, Micronesia flashback, and Game Changers. And she tells him that Jenna has said her name. They agree to work with each other. They're each other's number ones at this point so far,
Yep.
which I did not see coming, to be honest. And so this next note here is interesting because we've kind of danced around this part already. Ozzy tells us that he's still figuring out the strategic game in a confessional.
Or at least he's trying.
Yeah, my response to that was more on the cynical side than yours. My note says Ozzy says he's still figuring out the strategic game, and under that I wrote, "Yeah, we know. You've been trying to play only physical since season 13."
But he never cared to play any other way until this episode.
Oh no, I totally agree with at least he's trying. I love that he's trying. That was just my
Yeah.
note. Like, yeah, you haven't figured out the strategic game yet. We know you're figuring that out.
Yeah.
But he's trying now. And I was fully convinced that we were going to get the same Ozzy this season that we've seen 4 times already. And
So was I.
we're not. We're getting Ozzy that's trying to adapt.
Yep. We'll see if he succeeds at it or not.
We'll see if it lasts. He might just go back to trying to only play a physical game. I don't know. But we go to Vatu, and this is just a fun, like, not gameplay, not tribal, not a challenge. Just a fun camp life scene.
Yeah.
And we get something that we got from the Merge tribe in season 40, and we're getting it now in 50. And that is a Survivor fashion show at camp.
That's true.
This was hilarious, right?
This was hilarious.
Like, I love it. And the fashion
Go back
show,
to Kim Spradlin and Michelle.
and yeah, Kim, Michelle, Sarah.
Yep.
and whoever else was still in the game at the time did this in 40. We're doing it at Vatu now. The fashion show was fun. Speaking of fun, Colby, who called Rizzo annoying as hell earlier, has now determined that Rizzo is fun and says that Rizzo has won him over now. And says something wild that did not cross my mind till he said it. He says Rizzo is the same age now that I was in my first season.
That's true.
Put Australian Outback Colby next to current Rizzo, and I feel like they wouldn't look the same age at all.
No, not at all.
That is wild.
It is.
Rizzo looks so much younger than Colby did in Australian Outback.
I'm probably just. I mean, I might be totally wrong on this, but it might just be how it played off on camera when Colby chose to go with Tina and Keith to the end instead of Amber and Jerry.
Colby's also just a very large human being.
Yeah, but I mean, a Colby, Amber, Jerry trio to the end would have presented much more similar to Tres Leches.
Fair enough. But yeah, so Rizzo has won Colby over. He likes Rizzo now.
Yeah.
We also get an interesting confessional from Rizzo. He tells us he's getting butterflies as a fan about playing with all these icons. And like that would be me too.
Oh yeah, same.
But Rizzo makes a good point. He says he needs to switch from being Rizzo the fan to Rizzo the player.
Yep.
And this is where I realized he's calling himself by his actual name. Or do we not get him calling himself Riz God exclusively this season?
Interesting.
I don't think
I never realized that he never did that.
What?
I didn't realize that he never went by Rizzo. So that's interesting.
Well, I think he went like people called him Rizzo, but like in his confessionals, he used Riz God a lot.
Yeah, a lot for sure.
We did not get one Riz God this episode, I don't think.
That's true.
So I'm curious if that's an all season thing or what.
It's until he is the performer in some challenge that causes him to win. And then he's going to do a flip into the ocean and be RZGOD, baby.
I do love his girlfriend, Liz. They call her Liz God. I've seen this online, like on Cameo and on Instagram and stuff.
That's funny.
It's fantastic, honestly. So we go to Kahlo.
I mean, they would never cast just a whole alliance together, but just looking at the three that alliance with their significant others has blood versus water all over it.
See, you say they won't cast a whole alliance on one season. After Micronesia, Parvati, Amanda, and Sari all got casted on a season together.
You're right.
And from rumors I've heard, they were gonna put them all on the same tribe at one point before switching Parvati and Candace.
Yep.
Oh, and James was also on that Heroes tribe that was aligned with Parvati and Amanda before Black
Widow. Which makes no sense because how does Candace get to be on the Heroes tribe after she's the one who did the first mutiny? But that's a matter for another day.
Because she was gonna be a villain and they switched her and Parvati to avoid a Micronesia takeover.
Yeah.
It was at least that's what I've heard. Like I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that a bunch of times.
Oh, I've heard it very credibly.
Okay. I've read it online, so I take that with a grain of salt sometimes. And Natalie Bolton was an alternate for that season.
Yeah.
So I'm not as convinced as you are that they would not cast an alliance on a season together.
Interesting.
Because, there was a million Micronesia.
That would be fun on a Blood versus Water season to see Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie and their significant others all play together.
Yeah, and they're all friends.
Oh, they are.
And so we go to Kahlo. Jonathan is now the second person to say Dee's name. Not like Jenna throwing it out aggressively, just like saying to Mike, like, hey, this is our first target, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that can change easily. But
Oh yeah.
I wrote down I hate this.
It
So
happens.
I'm
It can change. If it's not in the same episode as you go to tribal, I
you
don't
know
think really anything matters.
you need to change your ways, Mr. Jonathan. Oh, speaking of Mr. and Jonathan, Jonathan cracked me up at like when Probst was doing his whole dramatic, like, I need you to give me this. Or, like, blood, sweat. Whatever the first one he says was, like, he's being all dramatic. Did you catch Jonathan just go, "You got it, Mr. Jeff"?
Yeah.
Like, really loudly did the arm thing. That was funny.
Yeah.
It's a little over the top. It's kind of pick me, but I laughed.
Yeah.
I forgot to say that earlier because I didn't write it in my notes. But Jonathan also says that he's like an old school player because he wants to be honest and genuine. And I actually kind of see that. That tracks.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so this is where the tide starts turning for me with this tribe, though, in my rooting interest. We see Tiffany and Dee walking in the woods together, and Tiffany says she loves Dee, and they're glad they're on the same tribe. And I'm glad Tiffany's here now. I've said a couple times that, like, for a legend season, I questioned her choice. Good casting choice now, because my
Yeah.
note under that was we finally have an ally. And Tiffany likes Camilla too. And then we get all three of these girls in a scene together: Tiffany, Dee, Camilla. And I think we have an alliance here.
I do too.
And you mean to tell me those three can't find a way to get two votes?
Oh, of course they can.
Like, that's gonna be. I like Tiffany. I'm not the Tiffany fan Kevin is. She's a fun player, but Dee and Camilla working together is gonna be fun. This trio is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I just need when they go to tribal, I need these three to not become the target
Yeah.
or not be in the minority. But there's not really. This is the only alliance I know of on this tribe that, like, has said we're gonna be an alliance and work together. I mean, Chrissy wants to work with Coach, but, like, we haven't seen anything this solid. I don't think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree. Other than the group of five on the other tribe.
I'm just talking about within Kahlo.
Yeah, definitely not.
So it's.
Unity.
I'm excited for this trio. They need to sway votes because Dee's name has been, like, not seriously, but casually said by two different names. But that's
Yeah.
going to be a fun trio. I'm excited.
And they have Jonathan, so they might just keep winning.
Yeah. And so we get to the immunity challenge.
We do.
And the way it works is you race up and over a net ramp, crawl crawl through a muddy net tunnel in pairs. Then two people will roll a cage full of coconuts onto this platform. And on the platform, there's this little frame the cage has to be seated inside of. Then you unload coconuts out of that and throw them into a large basket that will make this large basket, when it gets enough coke in it, this wooden box or crate falls to the ground and busts open to reveal a monkey's fist that you then throw onto a latch that lowers a ramp. Good Lord, these challenges are so there's so many steps to them.
Yeah.
The ramp lowers, you get up the ramp to the top of a platform and assemble a puzzle.
But as we all know, the assemble a puzzle part is really all that matters.
I disagree. One tribe specifically lost because of the monkey paw part.
Well, sure.
The monkey paw part mattered very much this challenge. So, what did you think of this challenge?
This was a fun challenge. Obviously, we have that difficult to watch part with Kyle. Um, I think the end was probably the best part of just like every tribe is just stacked with people that are puzzle legends in this show.
Yeah.
And it's going to make for some really good competition as we go forward because it's not just your Ozzy, your Joe, your Kyle before he left, your who am I missing? Jonathan, of course. But when you look at like we're talking about every week we're gonna get like let me go to the tribe list, make sure that I don't say something dumb. It's always new. Contest. But it's like we're talking about Christian, Camilla, and Genevieve doing puzzles against each other week in and week out.
Yeah.
That's gonna be amazing.
And she put herself on the monkey paw this time, but Cerie's good at puzzles too.
Yep.
If she sticks around for a little bit.
Yep. Very true.
So it's it's going to be interesting. So the first two tribes to finish win immunity.
Yes.
And we're also playing for a large fishing kit for first place and a smaller fishing kit for second place. And so we get Camilla and Chrissy on the puzzle for Kahlo. This is big here. Trying to get up the ramp and like run up to the ramp and jump. Kyle hurts his ankle.
Yep.
It gets checked out. They tell him he can stay in the game, which is really interesting because they end up coming back and checking out the same injury later. And
My guess is, and I don't know, only the players will know this and probably can't speak on it, but I'm sure that they must have used a mobile X-ray unit when they were out in the field on the challenge,
yeah,
and therefore sent it back to the camp. And the next day they're like, no.
yeah. And so, do you see Kyle's video, by the way? He posted after the premiere about his, like, he fully ruptured, like, either ruptured or tore some of his Achilles
Yeah,
and had to get, like, surgery and learn how to walk on that leg again. And there's, like, little videos and stuff he posted of the recovery process.
that's crazy.
So, yeah, pulling him was the right move. It was
Oh,
just sad.
definitely.
Back to our challenge. Kyle, not Kyle, Hugh comes back down the ramp to help Kyle up. So we have two tribes at the puzzle, and Sela is still at the monkey paw. Cerie is throwing that, not monkey's paw, monkey's fist. Is still throwing it over and over again. And what I read on Twitter was she put herself on this because there had been a challenge with throwing one of those things in Australia.
Yeah.
But what she wasn't accounting for was that little barrier in front of her that like affects your motion.
At least she didn't blame Brad Culpepper for putting her on that aspect of the challenge.
Wow. I was not expecting a Debbie reference today. Where's her spot on this season?
Thankfully, somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Can we get her? Like, can you imagine her and Coach together?
Oh God, no.
No, but if she and Coach were on the same tribe, Dee wouldn't be the person everyone wants to target because Debbie would be.
True.
I think I figured this out. The way I get Dee deep into this game is to put her on a tribe with a bunch of annoying people.
Fair enough.
Not really, but Debbie is just wild. I can't believe she's wild enough for first season. I can't believe they brought her back, and then she was more wild the second time.
Yeah,
She's good TV though.
she is.
Debbie, if you're listening, come on our show. We'd love to talk to you.
Oh, that would be great.
And so Genevieve and Angelina are doing the puzzle for Vatu. Sela eventually gets up there, and it's Emily and Christian doing it. What a
Yep.
puzzle duo that is.
Oh yeah.
They don't really have time to do anything because Sari put them in a hole that they couldn't come back from, but that's fun.
Which is why, like I say, getting into tribal, that if Jenna would have just waited till this exact moment and then threw Sui's name out, Jenna would still be in this game.
Yeah, she misplayed it.
Yeah.
Kala wins. I put yay, D gets another day to work her magic. You and me both have players we're like watching this season through the prism of rooting for our favorite player. It's
Oh
great.
yeah, absolutely.
I love that we both have like previous favorite players back on a season together.
Yeah.
And if they both make the merge and work together, we're gonna be insufferable tomorrow.
Especially since we didn't know each other during Winners at War when we had Natalie and Michelle.
Yeah. So Vatu gets second, which means Sela's going to tribal. And we get a Savannah confessional as we're leaving the challenge, saying that Sari blew the challenge for them today and that could be a death sentence for her.
Yeah.
But Sari's incredible at this game, so what would have been a death sentence for everyone else wasn't.
That's right.
So we go to Sela, and I felt bad for Sari. We get a confessional of her like owning how she messed up and that she wants like needs to work and keep herself in now.
Yep.
And Jenna says that tonight is for her is about getting Sari out. I think she says that in the water to someone. And I have this quote written down. I don't remember if she says that to someone or to us in a confessional. But she says when you look at the tribe dynamics, you have one person who's 55 and can't swim and can't run. She's going hard at this.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ozzy tells us he wants to save Sari, which
I was sitting there like, isn't Jenna 55? Is she talking about herself?
let me look her up. $48.
Okay.
So close.
Yeah.
We see Savannah say to Joe, with Jenna, we know her game. She's strategic and she's all over the place. But we know that, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
I guess, like, she's predictably unpredictable.
Very true.
And we see a conversation with Devins and Emily. And Emily points out how hard Ozzy came in defense of Suri and that makes her nervous. Which is a good point. You kind of have a duo forming there. You might want to break that up.
Absolutely.
And Emily points out in confessionals to us that the tribe without Ozzy in it is stronger for her because you would be able to keep Jenna and Sari, who are both going at each other really hard right now.
Yep.
But also, it's pre-merge and you're trying to stay away from tribal. Why would you get rid of Ozzy? He's the biggest help in staying away from tribal.
That's it. And like I said, in this game, we'll probably get some weeks where challenges mean more than in other games.
Yeah.
I think this season is going to be surprisingly, the season where Ozzy learns that he has to play the social and the strategic game is also the season where odds are the physical game will mean more than it ever has.
So, at this point, there's three possibilities. It could be Jenna or Sari, or we threw Ozzy's name out there.
But it's unanimous.
But I wrote down we're guaranteed to have a legend of the game join the first boot club at this point.
Yep. That we are.
And then in all capitals, right before we leave for tribal, I put we have a Survivor newsroom confessional.
How
You
did
guys
did
remember in season 38, Rick Devens did a lot of these because he's a news anchor or
yeah.
was. I don't know if he
Did
still
you
is.
realize that we have two news anchors, both from the state of Georgia, on one tribe?
I'm pretty sure only one of them is going to do confessionals like
Yeah, I think so.
bum 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 into the Survivor news. Only one of them's going to do that.
Oh yeah,
Savannah doing that would be so crazy though.
she should do it just once, just to be like, well, she's on a tribe with Rick. It would be funny.
But that got me excited because Rick Devens did so many of those newsroom confessionals in his first season, and
Yeah,
that made me laugh.
yeah.
So going into tribal, my question is, what's the right move here?
The right move here, overall, I would say, is to vote out Suri, but with the way that Jenna's been playing, you have to vote out Jenna.
Yeah,
She's too unpredictable. And if
either one of
Jenna
those.
wants to target Suri so quickly, the next week she could be doing that to you.
Yeah, and it's either one of those two. I would have been okay with and said, yeah, I can argue you made the right move. The very brief talk of voting Ozzy out would have
Made
been the
no sense.
objectively worst move.
Yeah.
And my guess is that wasn't a strong consideration.
No.
The edit just wants us to think it was.
Exactly.
We get Jenna though reflecting on her first tribal council back in Borneo, which was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. Especially having watched the DVD commentary in Borneo, when it's like Jenna brings up we had to ring a gong, and Jeff talks on that DVD set about how the gong was the stupidest idea we ever had in the history of Survivor.
That's because yeah, they've had worse ideas since then.
Yeah.
They had an hourglass. They had an amulet of power that was kind of useless.
Yeah.
What I remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember the amulet of power actually making a difference in any.
No.
We had Palau, where the idea was schoolyard pick, and the two last picks get sent home on the first day without playing.
Yeah, that's
That
dumb.
might be the worst one.
Yeah.
I love that Jeff called out the gong for being dumb, though. That's hilarious. I did
Yeah.
not know that. So, continuing tribal, Ozzy says he's reflected on his past games and the person and the kid he was, and that he wants to play different. And I cannot believe we're hearing this.
Yeah.
The Ozzy that has had the same personality and tried to play the same only physical game 4 times is finally trying to adapt. Wow,
Yeah, exactly.
that's crazy. I love it.
Jenna, in the other hand, is not trying to adapt and gets voted out.
Yeah. Jenna gets voted out. And here's my comparison for her. I'm looking up to see if this vote was unanimous.
Yeah, it was.
You know where I'm going with this?
No.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm looking up to see if the person I'm about to compare her to went home unanimously also, is what I meant.
Oh.
Another player that was a first boot on a returning player season and that got voted out because she was playing aggressive, because she was the first person on her tribe to say a name, even though it was a logical name to want to vote out. Sierra
Yeah.
on Game Changers. Sierra Easton
Yep. Very true.
gets voted out 9-1. First boot on Game Changers
Yeah, I like that
because she
comparison.
said Tony's name when no one else was saying names yet. No one was really playing yet. They were still like settling in. Keep in mind that like Game Changers Tony was just a chaos tornado, so that was a good name to say.
Yeah.
But is that not like does Jenna here not kind of remind you of Sierra and Game Changers in a
Oh,
way?
very much so.
Like the whole episode, that's what I was thinking of. Oh, I'm watching Sierra and Game Changers happen again.
Yeah.
I would have been okay seeing her on this season, by the way.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Her and Jenna on the same tribe would have been wild for a first boot tribal.
Yeah.
But
Just not her and Stephanie on the same tribe.
no, political reasons. Well, let's not go there.
Let's not.
Stop it.
Well, I
Jenna is
can't help the way my
unanimously
brain
voted.
works.
What?
I can't help the way that my brain functions sometimes.
I know. So Jenna voted out unanimously. Kevin back to back first boots drafted. And those were my notes back to back. I put the winner killer is gone. Everyone was so nervous for the winners because Jenna was back, and Jenna's going to target the winners like she did last time. She's gone. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Now the only thing that's targeting the winners is the medical evacuations that we're going to get into.
Oh, I'm not going to be happy if the whole winners getting medevac trend continues.
Yeah, let's not. I
But
won't be either.
and this is where I wrote down this Jenna. This whole episode gave me the vibe of Sierra Easton in Game Changers, being the first to say a name and getting voted out for playing too hard.
Yeah.
It's crazy how alike those storylines are. But we go to Vatu, where something cool happens for your favorite player in the game.
Yep.
She finds something.
She does. The Billie Eilish boomerang idol.
And when we saw that title in the trailer, a lot of fans were upset. They thought it sounded gimmicky.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled by this at all in the trailer.
I love it in concept, though.
In concept, it's
what
great.
it is.
Yeah, and I think Genevieve played it perfectly in terms of if anybody at this level of a game is going to get voted out with an idol in their pocket, it's Ozzy.
Yeah, that's because James isn't here.
Yeah,
but Genevieve does find that idol, and the letter starts with "Hi, I'm Billie Eilish," which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
But the way it works, the reason it's a boomerang idol, you have to send it to someone on another tribe. And if they get voted out with it, it boomerangs back to you.
Which is smart.
That's really cool. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, agreed.
I know I said earlier the new era is riddled with advantages, and it's probably too many.
I don't mind the advantages. I just hate I hate people losing their vote because that's the whole premises of the game, and I hate pretending that challenges didn't happen and that losers win and winners lose.
Well, that only happened twice. That hasn't happened.
I know, but that's why I'm one of the big two reasons that I'm critical of the new era. Other than those two, I think the twists have been great.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a cool idol. Is there only one, or is there one on each tribe?
I would bet there's only one, but how Jeff said that there's 4 celebrity interactions, there's probably 2 other celebrity interactions on the 2 other tribes, one from Jimmy Fallon and one from someone else that I can't remember, and then we get that scene where Mr. Beast shows up.
Have you looked up any of his videos yet?
No, I haven't got a chance.
I'll try to send you one when we're done here. But the reason I ask if there's one on another tribe, when we saw Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol in this trailer, it was Rick saying it.
Yeah.
He's on a different tribe.
True.
So I'm curious how he finds out about it. Because I think the letter said there's one, didn't it?
That's what I thought.
So how is Rick saying How does Rick even know it exists? Unless that clip is just
Is
from post merge when someone tells
does or does Rick find out about it from Ozzy?
Ozzy doesn't know what it is. He just knows it's
True.
an idol and that he can't give it away and he can only play it for himself.
That's interesting. I mean, we'll see how it works later.
Maybe I missed it. I don't think Ozzy's letter says Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. He
I'll have
read,
to watch it again.
yeah, he read that. I know he read you can't give this away and you can only play it for yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Anything else we need to go into before we wrap up?
um, little bit. We go to Sela. Ozzy's playing provider, of course. Devin says in a confessional, basically says Ozzy's still dispensable, even though he's bringing us all this food.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Ozzy gets the idol. Rules are he can't give it to anyone else, can only play it for himself. And oh, we have a journey also.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Where Mike White is the big winner of the whole thing because he just gets to do nothing
Yeah.
and keeps his vote. Savannah beats Colby, and therefore Colby lost his vote, and she gets an advantage.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what I don't like is that we've now had Exile Island and a Journey both in the premiere, and two people on the same tribe are losing votes.
Yeah. It's yeah, I don't like losing the votes this much.
Yeah.
But they have a bit of a gossip section. We learned that what Ozzy told his tribe about the key is not what the actual story of what happened. I think Ozzy misunderstood what happened at the challenge
Mm-hmm.
and thinks that when he talked about making that deal, that he just assumed Coach agreed to it and then went back on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so only two get to play this game though, and Mike draws the white rock, so he leaves. And this is a game that's actually like a thing outside of Survivor. This
Yeah.
is just Tetris Tumble.
Exactly.
And so Savannah talks about how she's trying to build it out. Colby just keeps building upwards. And
Yeah.
Savannah at one point tells us she's scared that Colby's going to build it so high that she can't reach it and she'll get DQ'd, which I don't think was ever a possibility of happening.
Yeah.
But Colby eventually builds it so high it falls over.
And I love how Savannah's just talking to Colby, being like, "Oh, it's okay, you're doing well," and she wants him to take a step back off the tower.
I also love Savannah gets this moment afterwards. Well, they both leave feeling like the other person is someone they can work with.
Yeah.
But Savannah gets this moment to get to tell Colby that she grew up watching him and he brought her and her family this joy. Like those moments are really cool.
Oh, they are.
So it's this is where we learned the fans voted for idols to have dynamic power, which really surprised me. I thought we were going to get strategic power.
Yeah, I would have thought so too.
But of the four revealed results, the only vote that went the way I thought it was yes or no on idols.
Yeah.
We go back to Kahlo. Mike tells Coach what he said. Coach is very coach about it, and that Ozzy was misrepresenting him and his honor, and he's Coach. He's it's a slightly different version of him because he's older, but he's very much still Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach is not going to ever not be Coach.
Savannah decides not to tell everyone about
The
her
day
secret.
Coach isn't the old Coach is the day he comes on a show and says, "My name's Benjamin."
That would throw me off. That would throw me off more than Fessel on the challenge. which
Yeah.
never really took off. No one called him that, but he tried to
No.
go. Bessie tried to start going by Fessel at one point.
Yeah.
But Savannah doesn't tell them about her secret block of vote. She tells them there was no advantage. I won by winning. I just got to keep my vote. I feel like we probably need a better story than that.
Yeah. I mean, it technically wasn't long until the last minute, but and we have seen this happen before. The problem is I don't know how many of the old schoolers have watched the last couple seasons of Survivor.
Yeah. So, and then go back to Vatu, and this is where we end. We're talking about blackjack and whether you hit on a 16 or not. And Q's explaining why he thinks it's a terrible idea.
And I'm screaming at the screen to Q that he needs to learn basic strategy because you hit on a 16 against a 10. But Q doesn't really play Survivor with basic strategy either. He plays it with the Q game. So this doesn't surprise me.
So explain that blackjack strategy to us then, because I'm curious.
I mean, I could go on for ages about this, but basically, blackjack, the point is to get 21.
Yeah, I know
There's
that.
a mathematically tested formula by playing millions of hands that tell you what is mathematically the best decision to make in every possible scenario, which is your two cards against one card that the dealer is showing. So mathematically, if you were to play 5 million hands, you win more times than you lose by hitting on a um, 16 against a dealer showing 10, then you would win by standing on that 16 and hoping the dealer busts.
Yeah,
That's about all I can explain it in, and unless we want to turn this into the
yeah,
casino podcast chat podcast, which I don't think
yeah,
anyone wants to listen to. But go check out some pages like Blackjack Advisors and Blackjack Apprenticeship if you want to know what more of what they're talking about. I just love watching these people do code counting videos all day.
yeah.
I am not a code counter. I am fascinated by people who are.
Is that illegal?
No,
Okay.
it's perfectly legal to use your brain inside of a casino. It does not mean, unfortunately, that, well, actually, fun fact for you, only two places in the United States were can't removed from the casino. Jersey.
Huh. Interesting.
Your state court have ruled that a casino took you out. Basically, I mean, is code counting so brain, not ice. Therefore, it's completely legal, but also in the United States, any business has the right to refuse service for any reason they want other than race, gender, or sexual discrimination. So, therefore, if you're too good, casinos don't want winners as their customers, so they just kick them out.
All right. Well, we're having that blackjack conversation. Probst shows up to
Yeah,
camp, and I wrote down, "Oh no!" And then he asked everyone to go down to the beach and give him and Kyle and Dr. Joe privacy.
I'm sure the audience is finding out that I'm actually a pretty decent blackjack player.
Yeah, I'm learning that too. So we run tests on Kyle at camp to check his Achilles tendon, and Kyle gets pulled, and that's where the
Yeah.
episode ends. And I hate it.
Oh, I hate it too. But definitely for the best decision. Like I looked up this injury in the NFL, and you're talking about something that's season ending, and if it happens in the playoffs into next season. So,
Yeah,
before we wrap up, someone that commented to the story I posted on Instagram. said predictions for episode 2. Do you have any?
Huh. I think Kahlo avoids tribal, and that's not me being biased because my favorite players there. I just think they're the strongest challenge tribe.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Hmm. If
My
Sela goes back, I'm not convinced Suri goes home.
Interesting.
I think her name will come up again. Like she's a target now. But
Yeah.
do you have any predictions?
My predictions are that it's going to be. Let me just get the tribe names. Like I say, we're early in the season.
I'll also throw another Kahlo one out there. This trio of Tiffany, D, Camilla that we got like a scene or two of, I think we're gonna get a little more of that.
Yeah. My prediction is that we're going to see Aubrey in a lot of trouble.
Oh, interesting.
I think ultimately, in my mind, without Kyle, that's who is the weak tribe when it comes to challenges now. I think all of them are probably in a lot of trouble without Kyle. And with having those no votes, Rizzo is the most important player in this game. That's my prediction going forward to next week.
Interesting. I like that.
If Rizzo votes with Aubrey, then it's Genevieve in trouble. Maybe one of the two with no votes, a Colby or Q. In
Oh,
contrast, if Rizzo votes with Genevieve and Q, well, doesn't vote with Q, but Rizzo votes on their side, then it's probably Aubrey going home, or yeah, I would say Aubrey would be most likely out on her own. Maybe Angelina.
yeah. And so, who are you looking at? Like, who are you going to be watching on each tribe if they go to tribal?
Who am I going to be watching to go home on each tribe? Or
Just who are you going to be looking at in the between them finishing last in the challenge and going to tribal? Like, who are you watching? What they do? Like, who are you?
Rizzo,
Rizzo, okay, and
um, Savannah, and Camilla.
yeah, Kahlo's the interesting one because I feel like we know the least about their dynamics.
Yeah, I
Like, we
agree.
know that trio has formed, and we know D's name has been mentioned twice.
And what's going to be the reaction on Colo to Camilla now playing in a Kyle list game? That's what
Hopefully,
I'll
it
be
works in her
interesting to see.
favor.
Hopefully.
I'd love to see her stick around, and not just because she's playing with D. I really like Camilla.
Yeah,
So, well, this was fun.
this was fun.
Do we want to do a line blindside first boot or
Why
wrap
not?
it up? What?
Why not?
Okay. Do you have three names?
Sure, let me go to that. I'm going to give you three names of people who threw out names way too early. So
Okay.
that is Sierra Easton, who you mentioned, Jenna Lewis from this week, and Nicole Delma from Pearl Islands. First boot there. All three first boots, too.
Yeah.
All for the same reason.
Yeah. So it's
Nicole from Pearl Islands,
yeah.
Jenna on 50, and Sierra.
Nicole was the name I couldn't think of for a second. My brain's working slowly right now.
Yeah, no problem.
Sierra's the one I trust. Like Sierra's my favorite player here, but she's the one I
Okay.
trust the least.
Mm,
Like I'd love to go with her to the end. I don't feel like that works well for me. I'd be afraid that she'd turn on me at any point.
fair.
Just she's one of the people best known for ushering in this era of big moves and resumes. So
Yeah.
I will first boot her, blindside Nicole, and go to the end with Jenna.
Nice. I am going to agree with you on first booting Sierra. I'm gonna flip though there. I'm assuming we're playing in the New Era game. I think Nicole would have been a great New Era player who happened to be cast in season 7. So I'm gonna align with her and blindside Jenna
There you go.
for your 3.
My three, you took my three, so I was thinking for a second.
Oh, sorry.
No, not you took my three. You took my theme idea. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
My mind is really slow. I am gonna go with people that 50 players played with on previous seasons.
Nice.
So for Suri going back to Panama, you'll get Danielle.
Nice.
For Coach going back to South Pacific, let's say, I will give you Michaela Wingle and throw a weird name in there that you don't hear very often.
Nice.
And since she got first booted, I will go with Jenna. And from her original season, throw Colleen Haskell in there.
Interesting. I'm going to, of these 3, first boot Colleen. I think she's probably one that, especially if she came back today, would be extremely popular, who really's wanted nothing to do with the game since she left.
I need her back, though. That would be
Fair.
so cool.
I'm gonna blindside Michaela and align with my fellow Red Sox fan Danielle.
I knew you'd align with Danielle. The other two
Well,
was
she
like
is
it.
one of my favorite players of that like teens era of the show.
I'm going to align with Danielle because it's proven that going to the end with her is a way you can win.
Yeah.
The other two, I guess I'll blindside Michaela and keep her. I think she'll be more helpful in challenges pre-merge, but that's all I got. Like those two can go either way. First boot Colleen, but
Nice.
those two are interchangeable.
Well, that was fun.
It was. Be sure to check out Pit Stop
Audience,
Pal.
we promise next week won't be a 2.5 hour episode.
Yeah. Well,
After 2 weeks of them straight.
oh, last week wasn't 2.5. It was
No.
2:01. But we
So
were
it was.
recapping 3 hours worth of
Oh,
content.
I know.
So, but yeah, check out Pit Stop Pals, Roundtable Talk, New Generation Challengers when that's back.
Roundtable Talk will have the finale coming up in a
Yep.
couple days.
And with that being said, grab your torches and head back to camp. Bye,
I
everyone.
literally thought you were about to say "Don't get murdered," and I'm like, wrong show.
No, grab your torches and head back to camp. Bye, guys.
Bye.